Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are jumping into a Grimm's fairy tale you might not know, but wow, is it powerful. It's called Our Lady's Child, and it's all about how one single act of disobedience, which then gets covered up by a lie, can just completely tear apart a perfect life and lead to some pretty unbelievable suffering.
So let's start with the big question that this entire story revolves around. I mean, think about it. What happens when you're living in paradise and there is only one rule you have to follow? Just one. Sounds easy, right? Well, for our main character, it wasn't. And that one slip-up is where this whole thing kicks off.
Okay, so let's set the scene for our first part, heaven and the forbidden. We're starting out in a place of total perfection. We're talking literal heaven. But as you've probably guessed from these kinds of stories, perfection is usually about to be tested.
So it all begins with this poor woodcutter's daughter. She's only 3, and her family is so poor they can't even feed her. In comes the Virgin Mary herself, who offers to take the little girl to heaven and raise her there. And, I mean, it's the life. She's got golden clothes, angels to play with, all the sweet bread and milk she could want, basically a perfect childhood.
Okay, so the girl grows up, and when she's 14, the Virgin Mary has to go on a journey. Before she leaves, she hands the girl a set of 13 keys. She tells her, you can use 12 of these to explore the kingdom of heaven. Go nuts, see everything. But that 13th key, that one's a big no-no.
And there it is, the one and only rule in all of paradise, stated as clearly as can be. It's a pretty straightforward test of trust and obedience, right? Just don't open that one door.
But come on, what's a forbidden door if not a giant glowing invitation? And that brings us to the big turning point. This is where a little bit of curiosity, followed by a really big lie, just makes everything fall apart.
So, you know how it goes. She checks out the first 12 doors, sees all the apostles, and it's amazing. But that last door, it's just calling to her. She just has to know what's behind it. So she opens it, and inside, she sees the Holy Trinity, just sitting there in this blaze of fire. It's so intense, so overwhelming, she's completely frozen. And in that moment, just totally stunned, she reaches out, and her finger just barely touches the light. And bam. The consequence is immediate, and there's no going back. Her finger is stained gold. It's a permanent, physical mark of what she did. She tries to wash it, to hide it, but it's not coming off.
And this right here is the moment that seals her fate. See, opening the door was a mistake, for sure, but the real problem? The cover-up. The Virgin Mary comes back and gives her 3 separate chances to tell the truth. 3 times she asks, did you open the door? And 3 times the girl doubles down on the lie, digging herself a deeper and deeper hole.
Because of her disobedience, sure, but really because of her lie, she's cast out. And the fall is just brutal. One minute she's in heaven, the next she's in a desolate wilderness. Her beautiful golden clothes turn to rags. But the worst part of the punishment? Her voice is taken away. She's struck completely mute. Her story is far from over, though. Years go by, and she starts a totally new chapter of her life. But that test of her honesty? Oh, that's just getting started. So after all this time living in the wild, basically in a hollowed-out tree, a king finds her while he's out hunting. He's totally captivated by how beautiful she is, and even though she can't say a single word, he takes her to his castle and marries her. It sounds like a happy ending, right? But her real trials are about to begin.
And this is where things get really, really cruel. A year into our marriage, she has a baby boy. That very night, the Virgin Mary appears and says, just confess. Tell me you opened the door and I'll give you your voice back and you can keep your child. But the queen is just stubborn. She refuses, and Mary takes the baby. This exact heartbreaking thing happens 2 more times. 3 years, 3 children, all taken away because she won't tell the truth.
So, can you even imagine the rumors flying around the castle? 3 royal babies have just vanished, right from the queen's room. And since she's mute, she can't explain, she can't defend herself, so everyone, the court, the people, they all come to this horrifying conclusion. She must be some kind of monster, an ogre who ate her own kids. Being accused of something that horrific, on top of losing all her children, it pushes the whole story to its absolute breaking point. And that brings us to the final act. Her judgment, and one last shot at redemption. The people are demanding justice. They want her gone. The king, even though it completely shatters his heart, he can't ignore his counsel. The silent queen is sentenced to be burned at the stake.
So, as she's tied to the stake and the fire is being lit all around her, something inside finally breaks.
All those years of pride and stubbornness just melt away when she's staring death in the face. All she can think is, if only I could just confess before I die.
And that thought, that one genuine wish to finally tell the truth, well, that's all it took. In that instant, her voice comes rushing back, and she screams out the confession that she has held inside for so long.
The second she confesses, everything changes. It is a full-blown, spectacular miracle. The sky just opens up, this huge downpour puts out the fire instantly, and then the Virgin Mary herself comes down from the heavens, and with her are all three of the Queen's children, alive, safe, and sound. One moment of truth completely erases years and years of pain.
And this is where we get the big takeaway, the moral of the whole story, straight from Mary herself. It's this really powerful message about how redemption is always possible if you just own up to what you did. And with that, she gets her kids back, her voice back, and the promise of a happy life.
So, that leaves us with something to think about. What's the real heart of this fairy tale? Is it more of a cautionary tale, a warning about how one lie can spiral out of control and destroy everything? Or is it actually a more hopeful story about the incredible, life-saving power of just telling the truth? It's a good one to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.